So today we are going to be learning about the different types of joints in our body. All movable joints are called diarthrosis, aka synovial joints. Around each bone is a hard whitish layer called the periosteum. On the end of each bone, articular cartilage is found, creating a whitish tint. Often in joints, you see an open space where the joint cavity is located. In joints, there is a synovial membrane that secretes synovial fluid to help the joints have lubrication. In order to have a movable joint, it has to have an origin and an insertion. The origin is where the muscular bone starts, and the insertion is where the muscular bone ends. If a muscle does not cross the joint, there will be no movement. A hinge joint is a joint in which opens up like a door. The hinge joint only goes into flexion and extension, such as the elbow. Next, there is a gliding joint. A gliding joint has two bone plates that glide against one another. An example is the carpals. Gliding joints do flexion, extension, inversion, and eversion. But now we have the ball and socket joint. You can find the ball and socket joint in the shoulder and the hip. Both of these locations allow rotation, circumduction, as well as forwards, backwards, and sideways motions. Now we have the condylar joint. This joint functions and acts as a ball and socket joint, however, it is lacking the ball. Now we have the saddle joint. The saddle joint allows movements in all directions. You can find saddle joints in the thumb. Lastly, we have the pivot joint. You can find this joint in the top of the axis where the head and spine meet, creating the overall atlas and axis. Range of motion of a joint is classified as flexion, extension, eversion, rotation, elevation, depression, abduction, and adduction. A first-class lever is where the fulcrum is in the middle between the effort and the resistance. The second-class lever has resistance between the fulcrum and the effort. The third-class lever is the effort between the resistance and the fulcrum. It is in most of the joints of the body. The fulcrum in all three gives our body strength when the load or weight is applied to a joint for friction, which is created to make a joint function correctly. In many cases, there's an applied force that is created by the human or a sudden impact, and there's a mechanical advantage when the amount of force that is applied to a joint. Thanks for watching.